Hey Wargamers, Josh here, and today I want to talk to you about boom boom gats, those things that go boom in the night, the medium mortar teams. Today we're going to be taking a peek at the United States Marine Corps Medium Mortar Team. Thank you for stopping in. Make sure you check us out on the web at www.wargamesdelivered, link in the description below, and make sure you check out our Discord to get an entry into that giveaway. We're going to start off by removing any flash or mold lines, any of the excess material. We're going to just peel that off of there. Once we are done picking off all the little pieces, we're going to take a file and just grind down some of those mold lines and some of the additional flashing that's in there. Once we're all set setting up our miniatures, we're going to go ahead and prime them using Army Painter's matte black, and then give the clothing a base coat in green. Don't worry too much about the overspray here, as you're going to go back in and fix most of the rest of the areas, but I tried to just hit the helmet and the pants on these miniatures. The color that I used is Army Green. Once that base coat has dried, we get to go ahead and pull out our paintbrush and wet palette. And I started off at the base of the model using leather brown across the boots. Once we're done with those boots, we are going to move on to the skin tones. Now there are a lot of skin tones across this set of models. So I started off with a base layer of tanned flesh and highlighted my way up to barbarian flesh. Introducing the M2 Mortar, a 60mm smoothbore muzzle-loading high-angle of fire weapon used by the US during World War II and all the way through Vietnam for light infantry support. Capable of firing a variety of ammunition, the M49A2 high explosive round, the M302 white phosphorus round, the M83 illumination or parachute round, and the M69 training round. The M69 training round was unique in the fact that it was the only round issued in separate pieces, allowing the pieces to be replaced as they became worn. The training round consisted of an inert projectile, a fin assembly, an ignition cartridge, and a percussion primer cap. During the 1920s, the U.S. Army began examining mortars to fill the role of the light infantry support. They settled on a design by a French ordnance engineer named Edgar Brandt. The U.S. Army purchased the license for the manufacture of the weapon and began testing it in the late 1930s. The first order was placed in January of 1940 for 1,500 units. Though the real-world counterpart is classified as a light mortar, its design, function, and the training of the U.S. troops allowed it to outperform any of the 50mm and 60mm mortars of other nations. An experienced crew could fire off 18 rounds a minute, and the shell had a maximum range of 2,000 yards at 45 degrees. So there are a couple of main techniques when it comes to painting skin tones. I used both of them, or I used a couple of them in this video, I should say. The first mini that I painted in here, I did using a standard layering technique. I took tanned flesh, layered it up to barbarian flesh, and then glazed it back down to blend my lines together. The alternative to that would be taking your tanned flesh, using a wash to create some definition, and then using a thinned down version of tanned flesh again to smooth everything out. Once we're all done with painting those skin tones, we are going to move on to painting the details of the miniature. That's going to be desert yellow for any webbing and attachments to the belt. Any detailing on the helmets, leather brown for strapping. I really like to keep my bases consistent across an army, so we're going to use the same technique that we used in the medium machine gun team by attaching the miniatures to the base after applying texture paint and using a little bit of that texture paste to fill in the gaps on the base of the model so that there are no ridges showing on the base of this model. Alternatively, you could cut the metal base, the metal stand, off the bottom of these miniatures if you wanted to, but it is not necessary. Once we've pushed some of that material into the gaps, we're going to go ahead and start by laying down some rocks and then moving our way up into the flocking. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of the future videos. And while you're down there, make sure you check out the description below to get entered in the giveaway and take advantage of the buy 6, get 3 free promo we're running right now. I'm Josh, this is Wargames Delivered, and until next time, we'll see you on the tabletop.